Alright, hello students, and this is the last one of the series in Unit 1. So this is Lesson 16, Analyzing Data. So now we're actually going to have you guys do an experiment where you're going to be collecting data. So if we read through this, it kind of tells you what you're expected to do. To test reaction time, a person running the test will hold a ruler at the 12-inch mark. The person whose reaction time is being tested will hold their thumb and forefinger open on either side of the flat side of the ruler at the 0 mark on the other side of the ruler. The person running the test will drop the ruler, and the other person will close their fingers as soon as they notice the ruler catching it. The distance that the ruler fell should be used as the data in the experiment. So basically you're testing reaction time. So one person's going to hold it, and the other person's going to have their finger there, and as you release it, it'll take a certain amount of time before the other person can grab a hold of it. And you're going to record the change in the distance, how far it fell before they caught it. Okay, so you're recording the amount of the distance it drops. Right? Now, what you're going to want to do with this is we want to get some data sets. So you and your partner agree on a statistical question that can be answered in data collected under two different ruler dropping conditions. With your partner, run the experiment to collect at least 20 results under each condition. Alright, so if you're going to have this under two different conditions and you have a total of 20 results, then you should have 40 times at least that you're doing this experiment. So you are going to go through, and this is the sequence that they want you. They want you to do your statistical question, and the data you collect, the data display, the measure of center and variability you found that are appropriate for the data, to answer the statistical question with any supporting mathematical work. So you can go and split this up into left hand, right hand. You could split it between boy and girl. You could have them exercise their hand on something to kind of wear out their hand and say if physical exercise of the hand before increases or decreases the reaction time. There's a bunch of different ways that you can run this experiment. So decide what you want to do. I would do left hand, right hand. That's easy to do, and see if you have a difference there. So this is like this first one, your statistical question. This is kind of an example in that instance. Is there a connection between a student's dominant hand and their hand and their size? The table of information to compare the size of the students with different dominant hands. So you can do dominant hand versus non-dominant hand. All right, and then when they go the summary, it's going to be all this data work. So you're going to collect the data. You're going to display it. I suggest like a dot plot would be good, but really anything that you really would like. Dot plots are always fun. Measure central tendency and variability that you found that's appropriate for the data. So if you get something that's skewed, you might want to consider using median and IQR on those. I think that there shouldn't be too many outliers on this. You really shouldn't have too many outliers. It should be a fairly tight, compact grouping. And then answer your statistical question. And so on your book, you have a nice big wide sheet here for all the information for you to put in there. So do yourself a favor, since you have the rulers, use the rulers to make nice straight lines and delineations across, okay? That way it won't look like a third grader would produce this thing. All right, and you're going to go and label all this stuff. Put all your work inside the book, and I'll check that for completeness when you get to this point. And so this little part here, it is the end of the Unit 1, and you'll see after that we have some practice problems we'll go through. But this is what we want you to do first, is to design your own experiment and then run it and see if you can use effectively the mean, median, IQR, standard deviation. If you feel that you'd rather put this on a Google sheet, that's fine, and then just print it, staple it inside here. That works for me too. So whichever way you really like. Okay, and so yeah, that's what you need to do during your class time, and that's all we have for right now. Thank you.